In our last update, we had one support area which was in the process of getting retested, and all I was waiting for was the New York Open to see if price was holding up above that low, or would we come down one more time to take out that low and then see a reversal to the upside. And if you go over to the charts, what happened is that we came back down one more time to take out that low and then offered a pretty decent bounce of just over 2%. Okay, and after that, price came back down, put in another low, and is now offering once again another bounce to the upside. So as usual, before we dive into today's price action, let me quickly recap what I personally did. Now this time I do have to admit I didn't have the best execution, but following Sunday's live stream, we had shared this short position, stop loss above this high, and our target was once again our support level below that initial low. This one played out very nicely, and that's where, as shared in my last update, I was looking for a long position. So then, going into New York Open, price was holding up very well. Okay, so we were above that low. So all I was waiting for was a retracement to open a long position and then see a reversal to the upside. And that's what I did. I took my long at around $111,400, but then price simply continued on dropping to the downside, and I did decide to take a loss. Now, with that said, I did want to open another long position, and the reason for that was because, as I mentioned in my last update, this was my only support area and volume was looking extremely good. And of course, I did realize after that this was a very bad exit because all price did was take out this initial low and then offer the bounce to the upside. And this was one of the scenarios shared in our last update, as you can see right there. So as I wanted to give the long another shot, and I realized that this was a very bad exit, I did decide to enter a new long position, and this one did end up playing out very nicely. And after that, of course, I just put my stop loss to entry, but I did recognize that as long as price remained below the daily open, risks were still elevated to the downside. And that's once again exactly what I said in my last update. So after that, price simply failed to reclaim the daily open, which was right there, $113,500. So price failed to reclaim it, and that's why you got another drop to the downside. Still very nice volume. And after that, as long as price remained below the 1 hour imbalance at $112,400, I did not want to look for new long positions. And if you open the charts, what happened? We can now remove the support area, which is this one. So what happened? Price ended up making its way up towards this 1 hour imbalance that I shared yesterday, $112,400, and this ended up offering the daily high before we saw that pull back to the downside. So with all of that said, what can you expect next? Well, the first thing that I want to say is that even though we broke my support area, as mentioned before, as long as we remain above these lows at $107,500, we can still see very decent bounces to the upside. So again, as long as we remain above these lows, I would still like to see a bounce to the upside. And as you can see on the daily chart, we have a daily imbalance on that breakdown. And this is very important to me because, of course, it greatly increases the chances of seeing a reversal to the upside. So we have the daily imbalance. We remain above these lows. Personally, once again, I am only interested in long positions right here. So if we go on the lower time frames, what support levels do we have? Well, the first support level has been hit, and this was the anchored view up taken from the low. And as you can see, we dropped into it with 2 hourly imbalances. So if anyone caught this long position, this was a very nice one in my opinion, because again, the volume was very good. We hit the anchored view up and we are now seeing a bounce to the upside. Personally, I missed it, so I have to look for a new setup. And locally, I have 2 setups in mind. To the downside, if we're able to break the daily low, this early order block looks pretty interesting. So again, if price can come back down very aggressively, we drop, we get the imbalances and a very nice reaction, exactly as we did right there, then I will look to open a long position to see a nice reversal to the upside. So that would be my first and ideal scenario. Now on the other hand, if price ends up holding that low and moves higher, then I will look to long the strength, so maybe long a breakout, stop loss below a specific low, and target much higher prices. So let's say if we dive deeper into the details of the scenario, we take that high. If we get something on the lower time frames, okay, so on the 30 minutes, for example, If we get a bounce, we may be front on that high, we get a decent pullback, and then we break above it. Then right there, I will look to open a long position and once again put a stop loss below that low, for example. So if something like that happens, then once again, I will be interested in longing the strengths. But ideally, once again, I would like to see price come down, hit the support area to then open a very nice long position for reversal to the upside. So these would be the two local scenarios, okay? Only interested in long positions right here. Now the final scenario, which I do want you to be aware of, is that if price comes back down and loses the support area, then of course, very logically, you should expect price to come back below this low. And at this point, if we have very nice volume, so for example, if we have a 4-hour imbalance, then I will be interested in being aggressive on the longs, catch a low. So for example, somewhere around there, we can go on the daily. I think this area looks pretty interesting if you want to mark it out. Okay, this area looks pretty interesting. So if you get something like this on the lower time frames, I remove this. This one has been hit actually, I just realized. But if we come back down, take out that initial low, we have very nice volume, we see nice reactions at the low, then I will be interested to be aggressive on the long positions, hunt a low, and see once again a very strong reversal to the upside. And for the targets higher, of course, these haven't changed since our last update. Let's go back under higher time frames. This would be my first target. We have the 4-hour imbalances and we have the range point of control at around $118,000. So with all of that said, that was mainly it for this update. As usual, if you guys enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.